So a girl produces a replica of herself before sending the replica to school for her, before that replica falls in love with a boy in her class using her likeness. There's so many jokes that could be made about this show. It's not even funny. But no, a show that I was kind of cautiously excited for in the spring season was Even a Replica Can Fall in Love. Now, I say cautiously because while I was looking at the synopsis, it kind of gave me an impression that they could do something very interesting with it, while at the same time acknowledging that it can also just go a very kind of typical route. The concept here is about a girl who creates a replica of herself because she badly wanted to apologize to her friend. And this replica pretty much does everything she tells her to do. And they do a bunch of stuff together, do a bunch of tests, hides it from her family, doesn't want to let anybody else know. It seems like whenever they're at school, whether it's her or her replica, they kind of do different things after school. That way, they don't, run into the same people on a constant basis and thus flag the fact that they're different individuals. It does seem like this replica can kind of pull from the memories of the main girl, Suno, but it doesn't seem like the two of them are 100% alike. One of the main key things being is that, yes, the main character, Suno, the actual girl, she has a lot of problems with kind of being with other people, socializing. She's very much an outcast. Whereas now the replica seemed to enjoy being around other people, like actually has a lot of fun communicating with people. And so this difference seems to be sort of creating a rift as we go on further into their lives, as now she's 16, and it seems like Sono is having problems. Like, she doesn't want to go to school. She's obviously having problems because it's her time of the month, but it seems like that's also an excuse that she's using to send this replica instead for her, and this replica, always answering the call, will constantly be doing this. Now again, going back to what I was saying before, why I thought this could be interesting is that, yeah, the concept at a base value doesn't seem like much here. It's a replica. This girl is an exact copy of her. It's going to school and it's trying not to get caught, but then it falls in love because it meets the boy who, was a champion star in sports that injured himself and for some reason now is suddenly taking note of her, even though it implies that Sono, the main girl, has never actually communicated with this boy before. Suddenly, he's now taking interest in the replica. Why? It could just turn into a basic story about, can a replica fall in love, like the title leads you to believe. But, like I was saying before, what I had sort of a little bit of excitement for, and this could actually turn into something interesting, is this really a replica? That was my big question mark there. And as I'm watching this first episode of this show, I'm starting to get those hints that I might not be too far off base. Now, if you're a source material reader, I don't need answers to this. It's just, again, this is the speculation that sort of has the intrigue kind of putting its hooks into me and wanting me to watch more. Could they get the idea that this isn't a replica? This isn't something that, for some reason, this random schoolgirl has manifested this magical being that is able to do everything for her and is a duplicate of herself, but in fact that this replica is actually a split personality, is now this replica of Suno, is it her? It's just a different side of her that is able to do the things that she's not able to do. The first meet of now this replica is, again, that she has this falling out with her friend. And this is like her only friend, and she really cares for this friend. And she really badly wants to apologize. She knows that she's at fault. She's going, please, somebody help me. I can't do it. I have to go to this gathering and apologize to her, but I can't seem to do it. And so the replica appears and goes, I'll do it for you. And then she runs over there barefoot, by the way, like literally just, okay, I'll do it for you. Doesn't even put shoes on, just runs to the gathering, and her feet are all like dirty and messed up. The friend like finds this comical. This could be where she finally got that courage. Okay, I can do it. And then that that break happens. That's where that split in her mind happens, and she suddenly becomes a different person. She hides away her fears, becomes something that has courage, and rushes off there to apologize to the friend. It is still a different self, though. And I think what this is sort of kind of opened the door to is, as time progresses, it implies that, they do a bunch of experiments, testing to see how many times they could do rock, paper, scissors before it would not be the same, shoot or whatever. Just hanging out with each other, finding out if there's any sort of biological difference between the two of them. They seem to be pretty much 100% on point. The only thing that's implied that is different between the two of them is that the main girl, the original, Suno, has problems with being around groups of people. But whenever Nao goes in her place, she likes hanging out with Suno's friends. She likes having fun and socializing. Again, the self that she created to apologize to her friend back here because she didn't have that courage now enjoys being around people that she doesn't have the courage to be around, has a different ability to be social with other people. But always, again, implying that this replica never steps out of line, always does whatever she's told. Every time she's told to do something, go do something, go do something, go do something. Again, it could end up going for a standard fare here of just a romance story about a replica, and can this replica fall in love, and keeping it a secret that she is a replica, and will they get exposed, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. This little secret between this replica and this boy that she's fallen in love with, all that crap. But I think it'd be much more interesting if they actually get into an element here of this girl, this replica, actually being the main girl. That would be the cool little twist there. At some point, Suno is over there, and then they open the door, and there was never a girl in there. There was never a Suno to begin with. It was always Now. She was always Suno. That kind of thing. Using a replica as a storytelling tool for split personalities, I think, could be a very clever mechanic. Again, it could be seen as cheesy because, again, you'll have that moment where suddenly the door opens and there was never original there, and then she finally has that awakening moment, that aha moment. But again, that kind of does lead it to being that's probably going to be the story's end. But I think it's just more clever than just this girl goes to school, she's the replica, she doesn't feel like she can be in love, but then Doki Doki's happen because injured boy in sports club suddenly takes note of her. He's the only one that actually knows that she's not the original because he's the only one that noticed the subtleties of the two of them. He knew that there was something different about her that nobody else knew. Not even her parents knew that they were different, but this boy in her class that she's never communicated with, he knows there's something different about you. I noticed something different. Now, granted, the first episode kind of ends with him literally bringing the fan to his club, and she's like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, there's obviously a difference here because she doesn't know that they literally talked about a fan the day before. The original comes back to school, and she has no clue that they talked about a fan in the club. Obviously, there's a difference here. Take it a step back here. I don't really honestly expect much of this show. I really don't. I have seen some positive ratings around the source material, so that gives me a little bit of hope there, but either way, we'll see as it goes along. That all aside, I do like what they've done so far with this show. Yeah, I would probably admit this first episode's very kind of info dumpish. Like, it's really getting into, like, everything from the replica's perspective, like, what she's done her entire life, everything that she does, how exactly she works, the fact that she's summoned whenever she's summoned, she goes away whenever she says to go away. They tested all this stuff out. She can kind of tap into the mind of Suno, but there's only certain things that are, very impactful and important to her that she's able to kind of read. It's like she's reading a book, and the important things are very clear, whereas the things that are not important to Suno is sort of blurry and it's hard to read, that kind of stuff. It does get in quite details about exactly how they work, but I can admit that helps me to kind of see how this replica works, but it's not like the most engaging and entertaining first episode because of that. I think it just really kind of gives us a sense of who these two individuals are, how exactly this whole replica thing works, and I think that's going to set up for hopefully some good storytelling in the future. But that all said, yeah, visually, not a great looking show. It is not a great looking show. Definitely a low budget series overall. It doesn't look horrible. We're not talking about like Tabat levels of visuals here, but it's not great. It's not great. There's a lot of wonky character design moments, but it's at least holding together. It's just not. It's not a visually pleasing show overall. So for our first episode, not really putting its best foot forward. Hopefully it holds together as it goes along, but we'll see. But that's my thoughts so far on Even a Replica Can Fall in Love. So far, I'm kind of intrigued still. Again, it kind of cemented a lot of my theories around the split personalities that I think would be really cool if they actually do it, but we'll have to wait and see. It might just turn into a typical story. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and want to support the channel more, become a member. Until next time, y'all take care.